Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about one of the most exciting hero updates we've gotten lately. Hilda just received a big buff and a clean adjustment that honestly brings her right back into the spotlight. This patch didn't just tweak her a little bit, it actually fixed one of her long-standing issues, boosted her scaling, and made her early and late game way more explosive. So let's break it all down and really talk about how strong she becomes now, how this affects her gameplay, and why you're about to see a lot more Hilda picks in Ranked.
First things first, they fixed a major problem where Hilda's enhanced basic attack was ignoring enemy defenses. That was never intended, and it made her damage kind of unpredictable. But instead of nerfing her after fixing it, they decided to buff her to keep her power level high and smooth. So now her extra damage is consistent, reliable, and still incredibly strong, just properly calculated this time. That already makes her feel way cleaner to use, especially in high-ranked games where small damage changes actually matter.
Now let's talk about her passive, because this is where things get spicy. Her enhanced basic attack got rebalanced in a way that looks like a nerf at first, but is actually a massive buff. The base damage dropped from 140 to 110, but the scaling jumped from 70% total physical attack to a huge 130%. That's almost double the scaling. And for a tank fighter hero who usually builds defense, this is a dream. Even if you go full tank, the moment your passive triggers, you're still hitting like a mini bruiser. And the per level bonus increased from +9 to +12, meaning the longer the match goes, the harder she hits. They also buffed the damage behind the target, which is the splash damage her enhanced basic does. The base went from 70 to 40, but again, the scaling jumped from 50% to 100%. Plus, they bumped the level scaling from +7 to +10. That means her splash damage in teamfights is no longer tickling people, it actually chunks multiple enemies at once. So whenever she jumps into the backline, she's not just hurting the person she's hitting, she's sending shockwaves through anyone standing behind them. This buff directly improves one of her biggest weaknesses, lane clearing. Before, Hilda could bully lanes, but took a bit longer to clear waves. Now, with higher scaling and more damage per level, she slices through minions faster, rotates quicker, and applies pressure way more effectively. This also boosts her roaming potential, her ability to contest jungle camps, and her overall presence on the map. Early game Hilda has always been scary, but now she's on another level. Those level 1 and level 2 fights become even more one-sided, because her empowered attacks are stronger and more consistent. She can invade jungles more confidently, zone marksmen more aggressively, and force flickers early. If she gets even a timing lead in the lane phase, she starts snowballing extremely hard, and with the improved scaling, she doesn't fall off late game like before. They also updated her ultimate by adding clearer information about how much extra damage she deals based on the target's HP percentage per stack of her wilderness mark. The skill's damage didn't change, but now players can understand exactly when to commit and how much finishing power they have. This makes her timing look better, and for a hero like Hilda who relies on picking the right moment to dive, this clarity is extremely valuable. With all these changes combined, Hilda becomes a monster in rotations, team fights, and brawls. She dives in, hits her empowered basic, deals massive splash damage, and then finishes targets with her ult, all while being tanky enough to survive the chaos. And the best part is that she doesn't need to build damage to be deadly. She can go full defense items and still hit surprisingly hard because of her crazy new scaling. If you want to abuse this buff right now, play her aggressive. Stay in bushes, force early trades, chase people with your passive movement speed, stack your marks, and rotate non-stop. Focus on pressuring squishies because your splash damage punishes anyone standing too close. A good Hilda can now control the entire map tempo by herself, especially in the early and mid game where her dominance is unmatched after this patch. All in all, this update didn't just buff Hilda. It polished her and made her relevant again. She's more fun, more threatening, and way more consistent. Expect to see her picked more in ranked, maybe even in competitive play again, because she has the perfect balance of tankiness and damage. She jumps in, smashes the enemy, splashes half the team, and walks away like nothing happened.
Now let's talk about the build.
Let's start with Thunderbolt, because this item is basically made for heroes like Hilda. You're getting HP, physical defense, magic defense, movement speed, and most importantly, that Thunderbolt passive that triggers every 4 seconds. This is insane for Hilda because her playstyle revolves around jumping in, triggering enhanced basic attacks from her passive, and constantly applying pressure. With Thunderbolt, every 4 seconds, your next basic attack deals extra true damage that scales off your extra physical defense and extra magic defense. And since you're building full tank, those numbers go up automatically. This means the more defensive items you build, the more true damage you deal. And the slow is crazy. A 99% slow is basically a stun for the enemy. Once you hit them with this passive, they're not going anywhere. On top of that, each time Thunderbolt hits an enemy hero, you get 1 permanent hybrid defense, which means your tankiness keeps scaling throughout the match. Every fight you participate in, every dive, every chase, every bush fight, you get stronger and harder to kill. For Hilda, this item doesn't just fit, it evolves with her. It turns her into a chase and burst tank that melts people while barely taking damage.
Next, we go into Dominance Ice, and this is the item that turns Hilda into a walking aura of annoyance for the enemy team. You get physical defense, magic defense, and movement speed, which is already good on a hero that constantly rotates and jumps from bush to bush. But the passives are where the magic happens. Fortress Shield gives you more defense for every enemy hero within 5 units, up to 40 extra defense. That means when you dive into a team fight, instead of getting shredded, you get tankier based on how many enemies are around you, exactly when you need the defense the most. Then you have Life Bane, which reduces the enemy's shield and HP regen by 40% every time they damage you. Hilda is always in people's faces, and when someone hits you, they're immediately punished by losing their sustain. Marksmen with Lightsteel, Mages with Shields, Fighters with Regen, all of them get crippled. And because you're constantly getting hit when diving, this debuff stays active the entire fight. Dominance Eyes turns Hilda into a sustained killer while also making her bulkier in the middle of chaos.
Then we have Oracle, which is literally designed to boost everything that makes Hilda annoying. You're getting a huge chunk of HP, both defenses and cooldown reduction, which she absolutely loved because she wants to be casting her skills non-stop. But the real power is the Bless Massive, that increases your received shields and HP regen by 30%. Combine this with her natural regen for her passive and bush mechanics, combined with Guardian Helmet later, and suddenly you have a tank who heals like a fighter with a built-in lifesteal mechanic. Every time she steps into a bush, every time she goes out of combat, and every time she regenerates, Oracle amplifies everything. It allows her to stay on the map longer, rotate more often, avoid recalling, and constantly pressure side lanes. In teamfights, Oracle helps her survive burst damage by boosting shield effects she receives. It synergizes perfectly with her passive regeneration and any healers on your team. Overall, Oracle turns her from tanky to unkillable over time.
Next, we jump into Antique Cuirass, another item that fits Hilda like a glove. You get massive HP, physical defense, and HP regen, exactly what she needs. But the strongest part is the Deter passive. Whenever an enemy hits you with a skill, their physical damage is reduced by up to 18% if the passive fully stacks. Now imagine this. Marksmen, assassins, fighters, everyone who relies on physical burst becomes significantly weaker against you. Since Hilda's playstyle is all about diving into the enemy and forcing them to respond, Antique Cuirass ensures that whoever tries to burst you actually ends up dealing way less damage. This lets you go extremely deep into enemy territory during fights. It also helps you peel for your teammates because you become a massive wall standing between your carry and the enemy's damage dealers. Antique Cuirass basically transforms physical attackers into mosquitoes buzzing around a brick wall.
Then we've got Guardian Helmet, and this is the cherry on top of a full tank build. This item gives you a monstrous health pool and constant HP regen. The recovery passive restores a percentage of your total HP every second after being out of combat,
With Oracle multiplying this regen, you heal insanely fast. Faster than most heroes can even clear at Jingle Camp. Hilda with Guardian Helmet becomes a roaming monster. She jumps into a fight, takes damage, leaves for just a few seconds, heals a massive chunk of HP, and jumps right back in. It allows you to pressure endlessly without ever recalling. The Defender passive also gives Hilda a unique type of anti-burst safety net. If someone deals more than 500 damage to you in a single hit, you regain a percentage of the excess damage as HP. So if a mage tries to nuke you with a huge combo, you instantly heal a chunk of it back. The more HP you have, the stronger this effect becomes. And since Guardian Helmet gives such a massive health pool, it synergizes perfectly.
Now, when you put all these items together, you don't just get a tank, you get a living nightmare for the enemy team. Thunderbolt gives you true damage and huge slows. Dominance Ice gives you anti-regen and bonus defense in teamfights. Oracle boosts your sustain and shields. Anti-Querus shuts down physical burst, and Guardian Helmet gives you massive healing and survivability. Every item reinforces the others. Hilda becomes someone who dives into the backline, slows everyone, reduces their damage, cripples their regen, punishes them for hitting her, and still deals insane true damage every few seconds thanks to Thunderbolt scaling off her tank stats.
And this entire build works perfectly with Hilda's playstyle. She wants to roam, she wants to invade, she wants to start fights, she wants to bully the enemy backline, and she wants to survive long enough to keep enabling her team. This build allows her to be everywhere. Bush to bush, lane to lane, fight to fight, without slowing down, without recalling, and without backing away. You become a threat the moment you appear on the map. No marksman can do you, assassins can't burst you, mages can't escape your slows, and fighters get out-traded by your natural regen and heavy defense. You're not just tanky, you're dangerous, you're disruptive, and you deal consistent true damage on top of all your defensive stats.
If you enjoyed this type of breakdown and you're still listening, you're a real supporter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop the word Hilda Build in the comments so I know you watched all the way through. I appreciate every one of you, and I'll see you in the next video.